I know you were on Nicole Wallace yesterday, and a lot of people are legitimately and I think understandably concerned about whatever he's doing at the Pentagon, right, or elsewhere. How Trump's refusal to concede affects Biden's national security transmission is what transition, excuse me, you've tweeted about. We can laugh about the laughable parts of this clown show, but some of this is deadly serious, isn't it?
It's deadly serious, and that's why I'm so disturbed, although not surprised, by Secretary Pompeo's joke yesterday at the press conference. If you're going to joke about the stability of our democracy, be careful, because you yourself are becoming a joke. And these people around Trump in his orbit are going to have to be held accountable for what they've done. Their legacy is going to be one that they deeply regret. When their grandkids study them in school, they're going to understand the role that they played in destabilizing our democracy. So the national security aspect I want to talk about first with regard to this kind of foot dragging on a transition is actually a domestic threat that is more imminent than an international threat. By that, I mean, we continue to see people being arrested because they're moving toward violence regarding the outcome of the election. So the more that Trump pumps this up as in doubt, the more that AG Barr does it, the more the Republican Senate and the Secretary of State and the DNI do it, the more that GSA refuses to allow transition funds to go to Biden, the more likely it becomes that we will reach a flashpoint. United States. And that's my first concern. Then if you move internationally, look, without exaggeration, we might be at the most vulnerable, exposed point right now that we've been in 4 years. And let me tell you, we have been vulnerable and exposed the past 4 years. But when you have the Secretary of Defense fired, you've moved people around from NSA to DOD, you're threatening to fire CIA and FBI, our adversaries are looking at this going, hey, maybe nobody's in charge.
I mean, between Pompeo yesterday and whatever Trump, I mean, I'm imagining people around the world just going, what is going on in America? I mean, this is, I mean, it's not just embarrassing, as Joe Biden said, but it is, as you said, the president playing games with our national security while refusing to get Biden the transition briefings he needs. It is a little bit terrifying. Trump's team won't sign off on the transition, so Biden can't get a presidential daily briefing. Without the GSA signing the paperwork, neither Biden nor his team can get classified information. It also shows access to intelligence officials who do security checks for incoming staff and appointees. There's no background checks. They can't do any of that. It's so, Frank, that's why I was glad the networks cut away from Trump doing all this misinformation. Fox News cut away from Kayleigh McEnany with this, because you're right, it is dangerous misinformation that is inciting violence. The actual FBI has arrested, as you said, actual people that are armed, that are acting on these ridiculous election fraud claims, right? I mean, it is dangerous misinformation.
Yeah, and I think there's actually another layer to this denial of intelligence briefings in the PDB to Biden and his team. I was part of transition planning and briefing at the FBI when I was there, and it's really important stuff. You're essentially asking a pilot to.
Right. Oh no, Frank has frozen. Okay, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Frank is frozen. Damn. He's handsome though. Okay.
Frank in still life.
He has frozen in the most handsome position I've ever seen. Look at that square jaw. He has that square G-man jaw.
Usually if I hit pause on a newscaster, on my DVR, their faces contorted. They're like,
yeah, no,
Frank,
that's like that
Frank.
square-jawed kind of chiseled FBI. I'm going to spoon you and protect you kind of jaw.
Oh, okay.
I'm just filling time.
I think we heard.
Okay.
I heard him.
What?
I think I heard him.
Okay. All right. Oh, the wonders of the coronavirus age and video technology. Now all right. He's talking to Travis. The Travis show is going very well. Oh, hi, Frank. You're back. Okay. Oh, wait. Hang on a second. We have to plug you in. Oh, this is fantastic. Thank God everybody on TV is having this problem. Hi, Frank. Are you back?
Museum of Broadcasting.
I am back. Do you have me?
Yes. I was saying you were frozen in the most handsome, chisel-jawed way that I've ever seen. Right. You look like you could be Mount Rushmore.
That never happens, by the way. Okay, so
all right, go ahead.
Here's the deal. by denying Biden and his team these in-depth agency briefings, I think you're also blinding them to the true facts of what's been going on. So, for example, let's say they don't get the FBI in-depth briefing right now, right? Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they don't hear that there's this ongoing case on Trump and the administration or on Russia or some other country that is never getting any exposure or traction at DOJ. Maybe they get denied that CIA briefing that says, look, there's this ongoing piece of intel that we can't get briefed to Congress or the White House. So by denying Biden that exposure, he's denying Biden ammunition to use in his battle against the Trump campaign.
Well, and Frank, I'm glad you said it that way. There are some people even in this room that I'm not entirely in the, everybody calm down, everything's fine. It's not that Biden can't handle this. Of course, we have faith in Biden being able to, but you are blinding not just him, but the United States of America in a national security sense. It's critical information that Biden should be getting. It's not that he doesn't know how to do the job. That's not the point. It's that you're denying him critical information to keep America safe, right? I mean, domestically and internationally.
Yeah. We should not be surprised that once again Trump is exhibiting self-interest over national interest, because this is really about domestic and international security. Look, there's a happy ending to this, but it's going to be like watching sausage being made. You don't want to see it. But at the end of the day, we're going to have a new president on January 20th. And what I said on Nicole Wallace yesterday on MSNBC was, this is looking, going back to my days in the Bureau, this is looking an awful lot like a barricaded subject. We have a barricaded subject.
In a hostage. Yes. You said that in a hostage situation. That's what it feels like.
And the only question is, and by the way, I think Biden is handling this, whoever's advising him, the calmness, the confidence, let this play out, let's listen. That's what you tell a barricaded subject early on in your negotiations, because
Biden's going to have a bullhorn before this is all over, isn't he? He's just, Mr. President, we understand.
but as it gets closer and closer to him killing hostages, you have to tell the guy, this can happen the easy way or this can happen the hard way. Yeah. And at some point, the SWAT team's going to show up.
Yeah. When the story broke that he's going to barricade himself and the Secret Service is going to have to drag him out, people were like, how fast can I train to be a Secret Service agent? Is there any... What are the chances that I'll get that detail? Because that would be fantastic. So your former, colleague, Asha Rangappa, former FBI, just wondering your take on this Pentagon stuff, though. Tweeted, Nunes has been acting like a GD freak show ever since his Scooby run to the White House in March 2017, and Michael Ellis showed him some intel in the skiff that had been captured about him, Nunes. Since then, he's been on a desperate mission to undercut the intelligence community. Nunes was found to be working with the Ukrainian lawmaker Derkash, right? Who was found to be an active Russian agent by Trump's Treasury Department this year. Rangappa went on to say Kash Patel was behind the Nunes memo, and Michael Ellis was responsible for moving the Ukraine call to the code word server. I smell a cover-up, not a coup. Would also explain delay in giving Biden access to national security info. I mean, some of that makes sense to me, that this is about covering up their past crimes, not even...
Yeah, if you look at the positions that are being moved from SecDef to what really got my attention, to inserting a new general counsel at NSA, you've got to understand that this is not, we've only got Trump for president for 70 days left?
Yeah.
So, all right, so this is these people have a short shelf life. They're all going to get booted when Biden walks in. So there's some mission in the next 70 days that they can accomplish. And when you look at the positions being moved, here's what I come up with. And this is not necessarily an original thought. You got to check out David Ignatius's column in the Washington Post on this. He's on the money. These are positions that can manipulate intelligence and release it selectively for Trump's legacy. Here's what I mean. There's going to be nuggets of information in NSA, definitely NSA, DOD, Intel, et cetera, that might indicate that maybe Trump and Russia weren't as close as they could be, or maybe Putin didn't direct everything as we thought. And if you declassify that and you release it, you save Trump's legacy so he can go on and flip burgers at McDonald's without being harassed, right? That's what. So it's partially covering up, and it's partially selectively releasing highly sensitive information. That's where this is going. And by the way, AG Barr is on record in the past as saying he does not want this stuff released because it will get people killed in terms of sources.
I was just going to say, he don't, without care for sources and methods, right? He's going to release whatever is good for Trump. I mean, so the former aide to Michael Flynn was put in charge as the Undersecretary for Intelligence. Of course, that stinks to high heaven. He was responsible for unmasking Flynn and then later passed that info on to Devin Nunes. So you're right. This all stinks to high heaven, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be about Trump's legacy and trying to preserve the notion that maybe he wasn't totally in bed with Russia. And my concern from a national security perspective is, are we going to get sources and methods destroyed in this? And how selective is it going to be? I can tell you, I buy into the previous reporting that Putin himself ordered the plan in 2016 to assist Trump.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think we're going to see that tape, that intercept released.
What do you think he did in 2020 or tried to do? Of course, he's the only world leader that has not congratulated Biden, right?
I think, well, there's a story. The stories that are getting not a lot of attention because we're all running around like crazy is the battle that has gone on in the intel community to take down the Russian cyber hackers every day, like a game of whack-a-mole. And there's been some reporting on this, but it's a phenomenal story of basically destroying their capability. They tried to hack us. They tried to mess with this election.
Yeah.
And we took that down. That's a hell of a story.
Yeah. It'll all be told someday. Real quick, Barr authorizes Justice Department to probe substantial allegations of voter fraud. What is your take on that? Is it him just, giving a little, bottle with bourbon and milk to the baby, or is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Look,
go ahead.
When you're dealing with a lawyer, you got to look at every word, every comma, every period in his statement. And when I do that, I see somebody appeasing the boss.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm going to issue a statement that DOJ is all over this. But when you read it, it says pretty much what you and I would write. DOJ should investigate any substantial evidence of fraud if it's big enough to overturn election results. Yeah, no kidding. But I think what that shows you is how juvenile Trump is in his reading of statements. Like, yes, I got DOJ to issue a statement. Yeah, they said nothing.
Right.
Now, the only thing that does concern me, Steph, about the Barr statement is he changed the rules in that he's saying we can now investigate election fraud before the election is certified. That's a new piece of information. But again, I think he threw a bone to the boss.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Frank, of all the people that have frozen in video in this age of COVID and a video, yours was the most handsome. I'm going to use it as my screensaver, that square jaw G-man, just the facts ma'am face will be forever on my computer.
I don't even want to see what really happened, but I'll trust but verify.
So handsome. All right. Thank you, Frank.
Book.
Oh, your new book. What's your new book?
My new book is a defense of the FBI as the intersection of values and leadership. Two things we really need. It's called The FBI Way.
The FBI Way. That's right.
And we put a link to it on Twitter and on Facebook.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, handsome. Oh, he's frozen again.
He's frozen.
Oh, I might take that one. That's even better. Okay. Frank froze again.
Oh.